shoot, I don't have my notebook. See, it's one of those days. See if I can write out here. See if I can find a piece of paper. Right out off the top of my head. I need paper. Come on, there's gotta be paper. Good evening. I'm just looking for paper because I had my points and they are downstairs. And if I leave the camera going, you know what? I might leave the camera for a second. Here, I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. That actually only took a minute. Good evening. Welcome to Psychic Paranormal Wednesdays here on YouTube. I'm Eleni. If you've tuned in before, you know the drill. I post a lot of paranormal videos because that's where most of the interest is. You know, I'm always interested to hear videos that you would like filmed. So I just had to go downstairs and get my notebook, which I usually have an outline for the live, what I am going to talk about. I think I may have just, let's see. Today, okay, so this is, okay, good evening. Welcome to Psychic Paranormal Wednesdays. If you've listened to the live before, I'm Eleni. I've been taking one-on-one appointments for 30 years. Appointments are a combination, a lot of times of astrology, psychic, what's coming up for you, psychic mediumship. But I'll give you an example. Last night, one of the readings I did was strictly psychic mediumship, and that's what that person wanted. So that went for about 45 minutes. Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Psychic Paranormal Wednesdays. I'm Eleni. That was 45 minutes last night when somebody booked a one-on-one. That was one relative talking for 45 minutes. Doesn't always go like that. Sometimes it's a couple relatives, though the person wanted just mediumship for their appointment. You can also check out my website, www.eleniPsychiumAstrologer.com. That's where you go to make appointments. I am available for one-on-one appointments, so you can book through the website. And if you have a problem booking, just write in the comments of one of the videos that you're trying to book and leave an email. if possible. Okay, so I'm just going to talk at first, right? Comments are relevant to the live. That means astrology, spirituality, psychic, paranormal, ghost stories, paranormal investigations, psychic mediumship, paranormal psychic mediumship. So Uranus, so here this is with Taurus. So Uranus and Taurus went direct. Taurus folk, you should be feeling this. You see plans suddenly have to be switched up. You have to rearrange plans. Things change last minute. You suddenly have to do something. Something suddenly falls through. That's very much the Uranus-Taurus direct energy. Hi, EXO. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you addressing that it's off topic, but thank you. So that was the Uranus direct, especially Taurus. You're feeling this. Saturn, thank you. Thank you about my eye color. Saturn, which is the work career planet, that is in its last days of Pisces. I've talked about this in the other lives. So Pisces, you're going to get off the hook with Saturn. So the work career planet, which is also the father in astrology, is having an extra intensity right now. So it has a little extra push. Friday, the work career planet moves into Aries. So if you're Aries, sun, moon, rising, have planets in Aries, this Saturn is putting you to task. When Saturn moves through your sign, you get worked over. Sometimes things fall apart, so better things come together. Pisces, if you've been feeling like you've been going through the ringer the last couple years, Saturn can be a bit grueling, but the rewards are great if you can endure and not take the approach, why are things crumbling? Trusting that there's a reason that things fall apart, and also that you get rebuilt and reworked, because that's what that transit does. Mercury, the thinking planet, is now in Pisces. So that Aquarius stellium, I've been talking about these last weeks, does start to loosen. And then the energy is going to become more Piscean. Mercury is in Pisces until April 14th, okay? That is a very long time for a Mercury transit. So if you, again, Pisces people, sun, moon, rising, planets in Pisces, that Mercury is reworking your thinking, your communication. I'll say this in the next live too, and I'll make the announcement when the next live is, because it's not going to be on Wednesday next week. Mercury's going retrograde in Pisces on the 25th. So as astrologers, we say ideally, if there's paperwork you need to sign, do it now. If you need to change, hi Marissa, good evening. If you need to change cell phones, do it now. If you're thinking of purchasing a car, do it now. As far as with tax season, I would suggest not signing taxes until after March 20th. I find that traveling during a Mercury retrograde is fine. But Mercury in Pisces is sensitive. It's artistic, it's intuitive, it's psychic, it's dreamy. Okay, is it Nia or Naya? And where are you tuning in from tonight, Naya? I always like to know as well. If you, all of you that are tuned in, if you could type in where you're tuning in from, I'd like to know what parts of the world everyone is tuning in from. So this is right. This is Western astrology too. I just want to clarify this. Anything that I talk about as far as astrology, and then I clarify if it's not Western astrology. So Mercury in Pisces, it's very dreamy. We just moved out of this kind of frenetic Mercury Aquarius energy, which is great because ideas come in like like a bolt of lightning. Now the thinking energy is soft, it's sensitive, and with the retrograde on the 25th, especially Mercury Pisces people, it's very easy to get confused because when Mercury in Pisces goes retro on the 25th, people can be confused in what they're saying. They think they're saying one thing, they're saying something else. You could confuse what someone's saying, that they're not saying what you think they are saying. So, people ask with relationships and romance, I don't think it's an ideal time to commit. Sometimes old lovers return during a Mercury retrograde. People from the past resurface, people that you haven't talked to in a while. So for the psychic, the spiritual, it's a really good time that where psychic dreams are more heightened. Maybe you have a vision of something. All the psychic, it is complementary to all of this in context of what I discuss in this live. Also, recently, Venus, the romance planet, also went into Pisces. So we've got Mercury and Venus in Pisces. Again, with Valentine's Day Saturday here in the United States, we have Valentine's Day, which is a big commercial holiday. And with it being on a Saturday, the expectations are even greater. And I'll give you an example. I have one place where I'm phasing out going to get my hair blown out. I called 2 days before. They're booked for appointments for tomorrow because all the women are getting their hair done for Saturday night. So I hadn't thought about it. I mean, obviously, I got my hair done. But that's how much emphasis in the United States, the pressure with Valentine's Day. I think you should show love every day. But, it's also nice. Who doesn't like to be, showered with gifts and attention? But it's usually the woman that has the high expectations with Valentine's Day. Guys are usually much more detached. And if they're doing it because they don't want to make their significant other unhappy. So the romance planet is now in Pisces. So with this weekend, with Valentine's Day, women are going to want even more romance because Venus in Pisces too sometimes struggles with not finding the spiritual love here that they're looking for. What they want is not on our plane. It's a higher level frequency of love too. So it's relationship oriented, but they can become disillusioned with who they're in a relationship with. Definitely with one relationship in their lifetime, if not more, because it's a very exalted type of romantic relationship love. So the energy is also now getting very dreamy. And Pisces is a dual sign, right? You always hear with Gemini, the twins, but also it's not really discussed that Pisces and Sagittarius, so if you're Sag, Pisces, Gemini, you're all dual signs. Gemini is the twins, Pisces are the fish, Sag is the half human, half horse, right? It's the man, and then from the legs down, it's the body of the horse, and he's got the bow and arrow. So with this Pisces dual signs can be changeable. They think they want one thing and then they change their mind. And yes, you can say it with any sign depending what the other planets are. But the dual signs are the most elusive. And I think as an astrologer, I think Pisces is the most elusive of the 12 signs in Western astrology. So, that's through March 6th. Venus is in Pisces. And then it's going to move into Aries, but we're not there yet. And so we're going to start getting more Pisces energy and less Aquarius energy that we've had as of recent. That stellium that I've been talking about in the other lives is loosening. Okay, so the work career planet Friday. So that when the next live, and I'll say it now because I'll say it again, the next live is Thursday, February 19th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Follow my page. I post a lot of paranormal videos. I post some astrology videos. I want to hear what you want in the videos. Several of my other social media pages and channels, they're telling me what they want, and they want paranormal. So earlier today, I was filming a paranormal video about a spirit horse, a ghost horse story about this ghost called Nellie, this horse ghost that is called Nellie, because that's what they're telling me they want. They want ghost stories. So I film a lot of ghost story videos. But if there's other content and you like and subscribe to my channel here, I want to hear what type of videos you want, because they tell me places to go. I'm always updating the list, definitely at least once a month. The work career planet moves into Aries Friday the 13th. And I want to say this because by the time we have the next live, Friday the 13th has passed. In ancient Egypt, 13 was a number that was revered. It was not thought of as we think today, an omen of bad luck. I know one of the videos I filmed, resorts, the elevator doesn't have the number 13. Here in the United States, there's a lot of superstition surrounding the number 13. Friday the 13th, the horror movies with Jason and the hockey mask. Though 13 is the number of the goddess, it is the number of the divine feminine. It is a sacred number. So it's what you choose to do with that energy that day. Tap into the divine feminine Friday. Tap into the goddess energy, because that's, and right before Valentine's Day, which is all about feminine love, even though the god that represents Valentine's Day is Eros in Greek mythology, right? And he's got the bow and arrow, and if he gets you with his bow and arrow, you fall madly in love with whoever the person is. Also for Valentine's Day, a really good, if you're into romance, a really good Greek mythology myth that applies to Valentine's Day is Eros and Psyche. EROSPSYCHE. That is, I used to teach that around Valentine's Day when I taught mythology. That is very much a Valentine's Day myth, too. So the work career planet moves into Aries Friday the 13th. Aries says move on it. I wanted it done already. Pisces can kind of la, 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 so dreamy. Aries is let's go. Let's do it. What have you been thinking of creating the last couple of years? Because now Aries wants you to get on it and make it happen. Aries is a make it happen energy. They are not sideline sitters. So if you're Aries, sun, moon, rising, or you have planets in Aries, the work career planet is like, go girl, go. Don't run a marathon, run a quick sprint and get to the destination. So that's going to change the work career energy. And Neptune and Saturn are going to line up at 0 degrees in Aries. I think that's the... that could be the 16th, which is next week. 0 is like an alpha and omega. If you know what alpha and omega is, these are the first letter in the Greek alphabet, the last letter omega in the Greek alphabet. 0 degrees is very much an beginning and endings type of energy. And it's also infinity. It's infinite, like the number 8 is an infinite number. So Also, next week, we have an eclipse. Depending on your time zone, this is February 16th or 17th, right? I'm on New York time. If you are in Europe, you're in Australia, you're in Asia, you're usually into the next day of when we are receiving the eclipse. So Aquarius people, this is your eclipse. It's 28 degrees. It packs an extra oomph. Aquarius sun, moon, rising, planets in Aquarius. You want to see with all of this astrological weather I discuss, if you have your astrological chart, right? I had readings yesterday, international readings, and I was getting asked, how do I get my time of birth? And I said that I can't answer for you. I can only answer in the United States. So you can definitely access your time of birth. Out of the United States, I don't have that answer. In the United States, I have that answer. That's the Department of Vital Statistics has your time of birth. And that I learned from my friend Gloria, who is a reader. And interestingly enough, she had read for Lucille Ball. Gloria's back in spirit. But we used to trade readings. So that in the United States, you can find out the time of birth. I was getting asked about England. And I said, unfortunately, I don't have an answer, but I would not think in this day and age you'd have to literally go to the location in person. Usually in the United States, you can access it electronically. So we have an eclipse next week. It's Aquarius. Eclipses eclipse in, they eclipse out. Endings, again, endings and beginnings. And then we have another eclipse on March 3rd. Obviously, in the lives, I will be talking about that. So if you are Pisces or you are Virgo, March 3rd is very much your eclipse. Next week is a new moon eclipse. March 3rd is a full moon eclipse. They pack an extra intensity to them. And they're a window of 6 months of what culminates to for you. And that's why, too, you want the time of birth because you want to know what houses all these transits are activating. Like, I was talking about this with a friend, not this channel, but several of my social media, that they want the paranormal. I looked at my astrology for the days both of those social media platforms took off. And I could find with my astrology why. That was in November one, and the other was just not even 2 weeks ago. And that's what's really cool too. You can a lot of times pinpoint when something activates. You can, with your chart, then insert the planets going on right now to an event that occurred in your life. I know when my father passed, I did a death chart of Dad. I know, a little morbid, but I did the exact time of death with the planets were going through, and I was able to pinpoint that was that was a time to exit. I could pinpoint with the astrology his departure. So there's a lot with the astrology that you can do. Yes, we caution about, newspaper horoscopes. They're vague. A chart is specific to, and if you don't know your time of birth, then it's a solar chart. You can still get an idea of what the planets are in. Maybe not your moon, but maybe, yes, your moon. Still, it's good to know what your planets are in because astrology also shows the personality in addition to genetics and environment. There's a threefold with this. Your chart, your genetics, what you inherited, and the environment that you were born and raised in that molds you, right? Makes or breaks you. You see this. In the last week, ish, the last 10 days. And again, I don't know where everyone is. My other live, everyone's in the United States. So when I talk about these locations, even if they're not in the state of New Jersey, they're aware too of the counties I mostly film in that get the most views. So I filmed in Point Pleasant at a restaurant, Point Pleasant Beach. That's a tribute video, and that was a really cool synchronicity how that lined up, because the man that I give the tribute to, I ended up sitting right in front of his plaque when I entered the restaurant at the bar. So that was a synchronicity from him to this woman that was friends with him. Also, I filmed at a cemetery. What day was that? That was, yeah, it was after this live. I have another cemetery. I have several cemetery videos in the vault. I'm probably releasing, not this one yet, but one of the cemetery videos. Now, are all cemeteries haunted? No, they're not all haunted. Just like not all houses are haunted, or, you know, not all museums. But when we film paranormal videos, our focus is on locations that are haunted. I do have a debunk video, and I'm thinking here, probably this channel, I would post it next. That when I did the research about 3 girls that allegedly drowned in this lake, and that's why they haunt the lake, when I did the research and saying, I'm not doing scholarly research when I film these videos, but I am looking online, I found out that those 3 girls were alive when the lake was named after them. So they're not haunting that lake because they drowned in it, because they did not drown in the lake. The lake was not named after them because they drowned. The lake was named after them because their father was a prominent man in the area. Even one of the towns we have in New Jersey, it's named after their father. So I do have a debunk video, because in the, you know, the non-believers, the detractors, the naysayers say, well, you know, you never acknowledge where it's bunk, right? It didn't happen. So I've filmed this video. There is still a ghost story in the video, so you can with the lake, but it's not the main story people have heard, have read, have been told. I've had people verbally tell me this ghost story. I've had people not here on YouTube, but write to me saying, hey, can you go to the lake because there's the ghost story of the 3 girls that drowned and people see them and blah, 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 blah. I will post that video to the channel here. You know, we'll see how you all respond to it. Earlier I filmed, did I say this, a ghost story about a horse from the American Revolutionary War that allegedly haunts the woods nearby where the horse perished. I filmed that video before too. I'm planning to film some more pirate ghost stories, horse and buggy stories. I'd like to get phantom train stories as well. I am looking at more paranormal hospital videos because that's what I'm being told people like for ghost story videos. So let's see here, and I'll say this, some of the towns that I'm looking into are Trenton, New Jersey, which is the state, this New Jersey state capital. I'm looking into Mays Landing. I will be back in Atlantic City too, because I've had a lot of requests for Atlantic City, right? Which is depending where you're tuning in from and what you know. It's a big casino gambling town. I mean, number 1 is Las Vegas here in the United States. And then there's Atlantic City here on the East Coast. I mean, there are various casinos that have popped up, but I will have more Atlantic City videos. There's a lot to film there as well. So let's see with this if there's anything else that I want to say. If you have any questions or messages, now is the time to ask them, because I'm about to wrap up this live. It's just a short live. I wanted to be consistent with the page. Like, subscribe to my channel. If you're on too, you need to say something if you want to say something. Otherwise, I'm going to be wrapping up the live. The next live, so next week, the live is not on Wednesday. Usually I have these lives on Wednesday evening. Next week, the live is Thursday, February 19th, 7:30 p.m. I will post the announcement in the live section of my channel. The more that you participate on topic, the better it improves the live. I'll be talking post-eclipse. I will be talking again about the Saturn in Aries. I think that Neptune and Saturn is lining up on the 16th. So I'm still trying to get a gauge on it. So I'll talk about that in the February 19th live. I'll be talking again as a reminder about the Mercury retrograde too, as well, where I'm filming, what videos I'm posting. You can always, again, in the comments, tell me content. Oh, hi, Judy. I was just about to wrap up, but now that you're here, is there anything that you want to talk about? I was just going over astrology the last half hour, where I filmed, where I'm looking to film with that too. Here, I'm just looking at some of my notes with that here. Let me see, because I went through my points. Oh, today's video with Nellie. So the video with Nellie, I filmed when I Googled the location of where the pond was, it still looked like it was a body of water, but it's, it's a sheet of ice. So in there, then there's a train that goes by. So I wasn't sure, but I did film the video. There's some houses to the left. It looks like, because what I had read was supposedly this pond is dried up. That was there during the American Revolutionary War. But there was a body of water behind it, but I couldn't really get a clear view because there were train tracks and there was snow, and I didn't want to walk through snow, honestly. I still needed my snow boots because when I got out of the car, too, which I was glad I wore my snow boots, but I triple checked it that I had the location from Google to Waze to Google Maps, and where it had the address was where I filmed. There is woods in the area, so you can fit the story with the woods. So I did film that video. This weekend, it depends. Maybe there's a road in Freehold I want to check out for my turkey swamp video. No, I didn't feel any vibes. A lot of times because I go daytime and I'm there to just film and get out. Other places I have, the Lakewood Historical Museum, I actually did in Lakewood. I did go back and film a video about who came to me when I filmed the first time. Also in Lakewood, Judy, there's this, and I do plan to post it on YouTube. next, because on my other channel that this is new, Paranormal Uptick Interest, I don't want to give them that video yet. Not anytime soon. So I will post it. So in Lakewood, Judy, there's this Sal Joe Lake that they meshed the three daughters' names together. And the prominent ghost story was that the three daughters drowned in the lake, and that's why they haunt the lake, the three daughters. Their father's last name was Brick, and he was a wealthy man, and that's where Brick Township gets his name. His wife's name was Minetta, and the adjacent lake is named after the wife, their mother, Minetta. So when I started looking around, I started, that's what I'm saying. I started Googling about the lake because I've had locals tell me to my face this ghost story that they drowned there and that's why they haunt the lake. I had people message me. They didn't drown. That's the thing. They were alive when the lake was named after them. So that's a debunking video, because you see like the people that are the non-believers or say to us in the community, yeah, and this is what too. I posted that video on my one page. It didn't really get a lot of traction. I think it's a big buzzkill for my ghost story people. They want just ghost stories. They don't want a debunk video. But the whole thing is, when I started Googling about the three daughters, I found that historical records show that they were alive at the time the lake was named after them. So they didn't drown. So they're not haunting the lake because they drowned there, because they didn't drown there. The lake was named after them when they were alive, not because they drowned somewhere they didn't drown. So it's one of the main points of the video. I do plan to post it here on YouTube, because some of the paranormal investigators I talk with, they're like, you have to film this video, you have to film this video, because we often get criticized that everywhere, we just say everywhere is a ghost story, and, just the negative detractors. Yeah, it is, and there still is a ghost story to the lake. So the video does talk about, you can still walk around the lake and see if you see who I talk about in the video, but it's not Carolyn, Sally, or Josephine. They're not walking around there because they drowned, because they didn't drown there. So that is a debunker video. You usually don't, people in my community, and I'm not talking the investigators because I'm not a paranormal team, but saying in the community of those of us that do tell the stories, then we usually just, okay, we're not going to film this video. But a couple of the paranormal, Judy, that's the whole thing. And I know too, with my other live that they were saying too, I think I had told you, I had a woman a couple weeks ago here on YouTube that was pissed off with me because she wanted me to tell her that she was going to definitely get back with her ex-husband. And then she got angry with me because I wouldn't tell her what she wanted. But there are plenty of people in my industry. She can just pop on lots of other lives and get told what she wants. I know, because one of the readings I had yesterday is I read for someone that tunes into my other live every week. And she was telling me about the formats of a lot of the other lives, right? That, my live is also content too based. I'm not trying to give a group reading for everyone that's tuned in. Maybe there could be with mediumship, right? It's referred to as piggybacking, like you're giving a message to someone, and I'm getting a Jeff, and he's saying his birthday is July 19th. I'm just saying this. It's actually somebody connected to me. But, he passed from an OD. And then somebody else who's listening is, I have a Jeff in spirit and from an OD. That's a synchronicity. That's called a piggyback in mediumship. That, yes, that message is for both of you, that they're syncing up to get messages to two people at once. So, but you're not with mediumship. You're not giving. Yeah, people that don't believe in ghosts shouldn't tune in, and they should STFU in the comments as well. Yeah, no, but they do, because you know what it is, Judy? People like to fight. And I think with my debunker video, the people that like to fight can't fight because I debunked in the video. So there's nothing for them to debunk or argue about, because I took the sting out of what they would try to sting with in the comments. Did I ever go to Lake? Yeah, I've been thinking about Lakehurst. I have looked at that. I should officially. I have looked at it. I didn't officially put it on the list, but yeah, I have that it is very haunted with the explosion and in the certain hangar areas too. Let me see. Let me just write down. Hopefully this isn't. Ugh, okay, I'm looking, because if I do with the Sharpie, it's gonna, with my updated list. Let me write this somewhere else here. Let me just write here, because I'm building a list of Trenton and Atlantic City, Judy. Yeah, we could definitely go together one day, of course, too. Yeah, because I'll have the notebook with everything written out. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely. I am interested in it. I have looked at it, reading about it to film. I just didn't put it officially on the list, but I will, because the last couple days I was gathering Trenton, Atlantic City, Mays Landing. I got a book coming in for that. Mays Landing and Atlantic City are requests. Trenton is me, because like where you worked, they have a psychiatric hospital there. I was warned by one of the paranormal investigators to be careful, because it is an active hospital for several reasons. So, yeah, but the debunk video, it's going to go here next. You know, and I also talk about another inn in Delaware that the manager came out and debunked everything to me that's online about paranormal activity, and she's a psychic medium. So I added that into the video, because I've got under 3 minutes to keep it as a short or a reel for social media. I think it shows people that we're not saying everywhere we go. Like, we're also showing, like, hey, I looked into this. That's not accurate. And I'm not going to not talk about it. And that's why a couple of the paranormal investigators said, you have to film this video. Because people who do what I do, and I said this not as, I'm not the team investigator. I collaborate with teams. And later this month, I have a paranormal investigation in Middletown with Todd and Carmela at 2 historic houses. You know, they have a different objective than what I come with. And where is the Mays? Mays Landing. Mays Landing is near Atlantic City. It's about 50 minutes south of us. I know when I used to teach at Rowan, I would, depending if I would stop at Smithville Inn for happy hour, I would drive through Mays Landing to get to Galloway. So, yeah, there's a lot of, I started finding, because somebody asked me, they requested Mays Landing. So I recently started delving into Mays Landing, and there's stories there. Yeah, that's another, I'm just waiting on one book I ordered, too, to see what's also in there. The Abbott House, maybe the courthouse. The Abbott House is very haunted. It's probably one of the most well-known haunted locations in Mays Landing. Let me see if I wrote this out, because I'm looking what I wrote out for Trenton. It's here in front of me. You know, I don't know if it's scary, but then again, I do go film in the daytime. Most of these videos, like obviously when I have the investigation with Todd and Carmela at the end of the month, we're there at night, but there's also a group of us there, and we are looking to document, you know, activity like knocks, like hearing supernatural knocks, you know, something rolling off the table and nobody's there, you know. But you know, like the Delanco video that I filmed earlier, I do go in a lot of times the daytime. I'm gonna see if I can film one Lakewood video on Monday. Right now, it's the last Lakewood video to film, unless somebody can locate for me where the Phantom train story is. No one has been able, and I'm not saying you, Judy, no one's been able to locate that for me. They asked me to do a video, and when I circled back, I didn't get an answer. I can't find anything, and I just don't want to go in front of a train track in Lakewood and say, hey, I'd like a proximity of location, but I thought that would be cool. A Phantom train ghost story. I was, you know, finding these ghost stories about docks, like, you know, boat docks in New Jersey, but the names of where they named the docks are not the correct names. So I'm a little annoyed with that, because I would have really liked to have done those videos too, but they're not adding up. Like there is no Blackwater Pier in Atlantic City, one example, and I had written everything out. He doesn't like driving home at night. He makes me talk to him till he gets to the Parkway. He sees a lot of cars pulled over for no reason. Roads are so dark. Well, that's also what doesn't help. The roads are so dark. Like when I leave here tonight, I drive through the Pine Barrens. Not very well lit, right? We know this. Route 70 at night is kind of eerie. Driving through the Pine Barrens. I've never had anything spooky happen, but like Mount Misery supposedly has a ghost story, and when you drive down 70 to come back to town, you know, you pass Mount Misery, or, you know, I mean, Route 70 at night is eerie because it's not lit. Like, remember before cell phones, and you were like, oh my God, what happens if my car breaks down on Route 70? It's like I'm screwed because there's nothing to walk to. There's no lights. I mean, that's the good thing about the cell phones. And then hopefully you're not in a dead zone, right? That with that, I don't feel really, I feel like certain places can have a heaviness, but a town on the whole, I mean, to me, Scranton, Pennsylvania has an energy to it. It has an energy of what has been. I was putting together, the Pinelands are scary too, Route 70. Yeah, there's so many dead zones, but they want Pine Barrens stories. They've asked me. I just said, like today, you were right when you said my hands started getting cold because I wasn't happy with the takes, with the Nellie story that I filmed. And I was like, oh my God, my hands are getting cold. I brought mittens with me, not gloves. So, you know, it was started getting like, that's what too. I can't really still film outside. We'll see if the temps pick up next week, but I got a pretty full, through midweek. I've got a packed schedule, too, but I'll see. Saturday, maybe I'll film a story in Jackson. That one's a request if I can find it. That involves a certain road. Like, do ever animals walk by, you're saying? Like, meaning, like, animals that are here, like, end up, like, in the background of the video? Or are you saying, like, spirit ghost animals? Because I am trying to, that's what too, another one shared a horse and buggy story. She gave me the green light to film it. I'm not going to say her name. I don't know if she would even care that I said her name. More pirate ghost videos I plan to film. Not that my first pirate video, it's a recent post. It didn't really get traction, but I've had that with other content, like the first Smithville video I posted didn't get a lot of traction, and then I posted Smithville Inn, and that's what would, my one social media, that's where it just took off. I think the pirate ghost stories are, the horse story, I thought, you know what, it's a horse. I mean, up in Lilydale at the pet cemetery, a horse had a similar fate like Nellie. His name was Topsy. And when you walk through the pet cemetery, they have a picture of Topsy at his tombstone, too. It made me think of Topsy in Lilydale, too, in the pet cemetery. So, yeah, I thought I just don't know when I'll upload it, because I play around with what I upload. I mean, I have in the vault a good amount of videos that I haven't uploaded yet. But I'm also, as you know, because I start traveling heavily the last third of next month on, I need to have lots of videos in the vault when I can't film videos like I'm filming now. I need to have them just to roll them out every week. Maybe not so much here for YouTube, but definitely two of my other social media pages, because that's where the interest is. That's what they want. Those are the videos they want. I'm giving them what they want. I don't know what people on YouTube want. I'm saying aside from you, but I'd like to know what they want. So, no, he's not. He's in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, at his new home. He moved to Pennsylvania. I don't know when he's going to be back here. If at earliest in a couple weeks, I don't know, next month. Yeah, I'm waiting. I got him a bed, a big, you have to get him a bigger bed. He's 100 pounds or 90 pounds, whatever. But I didn't realize that the company's from China, because it was all in English. So we'll see when the bed arrives. But I got him, because he likes to just like plop down. And I thought a nice big like bed to the floor would be good for him. Just how, like, he likes to switch it up where he lays down and naps. He goes from the couch to the floor to up to the fireplace to, So, yeah, I would have liked the bed to have already arrived. This is the problem now with China, because of customs, it takes even longer. So I wasn't happy about that. Yeah, I was, because I know he's in the new home, and it's going to be a big change from the home he's been in the last 6 months. So I thought, let's try to have some things that he's got, to feel even more comfortable too, especially when he's alone too at times. So yeah, I don't know now when I'm gonna see him. I may not see him for months. I know I had said that before, and then Sunday I saw him, but really now I'm not sure how when I'll see him in the near future. So yeah, I'm just looking here. There's an eclipse Tuesday. I talked about that, Judy, in Aquarius. Yeah, I've been finding more, like, I want to film in Flemington too. There's a hotel that's haunted. I will have to update the list. I'm not going to do it yet, but get Lakehurst on the list. I'm just looking at the list. There's one in Atco, New Jersey. Yeah, I mean, she knows that. Lily, I get she's just getting reacquainted. She's got a friend over there, a dog friend, and it's a white Pomeranian that she's friends with. in the spirit world. I get she's, spending time with a lot of animals that she knows, that she's connected to. She knows you miss her. Ask her if she can visit you in a dream. Give you some, because remember the one time I was there and I saw Gracie outside and she looked younger too. But when Tim was talking about this too, and I was talking about this last night, what blocks connection? Grief, stress, fear, anger, and worry. Those are the 5 that block connection. One of them, all of them. Yeah, it doesn't, yeah, Snoop, Astral, yeah, Gracie's visited. Too. Yeah, I don't know. They don't, I get more with the mediumship when the loved one is, has the dog with them or, and then I'm giving a description of the animal and, the person's laughing in a good way because that's the dog that they had and they have in the spirit world. I've been getting those type of validations lately with the mediumship, too. So, yeah, I'm thinking now through last week that's how the pets have been coming through with a relative that's connected to the person that is getting read, during the appointment. Yeah, that's what too, because yeah, I'm able to receive them. And that's why when I talked about Lily, I just saw a white Pomeranian to my right here, as well. Yeah, that's why too, when if whether it was the person that's in the spirit world, it was their pet or their pet. Yeah, too, because sometimes the relative will come and get the pet. That's not even their pet for that person. Help the animal, back to the spirit world. So, yeah, I think the people I've had lately with the mediumship, they're more interested in making contact with relatives. Like I had one woman last night, I may have said 45 minutes her dad was talking, which is fine. So it was one person for 45 minutes. I mean, it was super specific too. You just don't ever know. Yeah, I don't think that's important, her past. I get a lot of reunions for Lily now. Reconnecting with animals that she has a bond with. Like there's a celebration going on with that. That's what I'm getting. So it's hard because, like I said this last night, we miss them. They don't miss us. They can visit with us whenever they want. We're the ones that are suffering, not them, So it's tough. I don't think the past is important to where Lily is now because that past doesn't matter now to Lily. And, yeah, because it's not easy for us. You feel gypped. It's not the same that, they're not, it's one thing. That's why too, with the mediumship, right? You feel great for 45 minutes. And then what do you do after the reading? Right. And that's what's saying those of us, I think, that are legit and sincere, encourage, building connection, finding a system, creating a language with your loved ones that even if you don't really feel they're around, but they are because you're working on connection. It's like you can't, like I give you an example with last night, and obviously I'm not saying names and I'm not being specific, but there's some family stuff coming up with, and I said, you need to talk to your father out loud. Don't rely on telepathy for what you need help with him, with this person in the family, right? That's saying, because the more you talk out loud, the clearer you are in communicating with them, and they know what you want. And if they can accommodate it, it makes it easier for them to make certain things happen. Yeah, she didn't want to leave. I think it was something with the heart, but she's very happy, Judy. You gave her a good life. You know, you love her. You know, you did everything you could. The hows and the whys, yes. They're, you're left with questions, but she's happy. She's happy. She's not unhappy. She's not unhappy. I get that very clear, that, she's thriving. The reasons why and all this, yeah. But I get a reunion. She knows a lot of animals in the spirit world. She is okay. She knows a lot of animals in the spirit world. It's a reunion. She's having a reunion with animals. I get, in another life, she lived on a farm with a lot of animals, different types of animals, and that's where she knows a lot of these animals that she's reunited with. I know, and this is like, you always say, I don't think I've ever even said something like this before about a dog and a past life, but that's what I'm seeing. And I saw the white Pomeranian to the right of me when I was talking about her. Yeah, I know it's, right? We want to try to get grief down to 10%. Grief's a process. It's just the commitment to constant, right? You have to feel your feelings. You have to work through them. You have to work on working through them, I should say, because if you don't, there's no possibility of healing. Grief is very tough. And I'll say this honestly, I think it's probably one of the reasons why I don't just do mediumship. Like, honestly, a lot of times I feel pressured to please the person. Okay, like the last reading I did last night was a jackpot of mediumship, and I'm glad, but I always get like, what if, what if I don't get anything mediumship and, all that? Yeah, luckily it was a striking gold. I ended the night striking gold with the mediumship. And I was glad, and the person was glad too, very satisfied. But it's on, you know what I mean? Like, that's what's saying, like I know she's happy, Judy. I know it because I see it, and that's what I'm getting in. I'm not, and I don't sugarcoat. That's what I'm saying, when some of these, like that one woman that was so unappreciative, all, you know what I mean? All the time I spent with her. And then she got angry because I wouldn't say, yes, you're definitely going to get back with your ex-husband who divorced you. And you want me to tell you that he's definitely going to get back with you. I'm not that psychic. I'm not her girl. And that's fine. She doesn't have to ever listen to a live. She needs to go to a live that's going to tell her what she wants to hear. And I'm sure there's plenty of them around. I don't really look at the other lives saying, it's only by accident the one time, like, it was like I got into the scroll. But yeah, I know she's happy. And that's what's saying. That's why the past life came in about the farm, because I was seeing her having a reunion with all different animals. Yeah, but you know what? Because they're immature, Judy, and they don't look at themselves. There's no reflection. There's no introspection. They think they're conscious of self-improvement, they're not, because even that woman got angry when I said, well, he has free will. I know what free will is. She's so angry. Well, if you know there's free will, then why are you trying to pin me in a corner for me to tell you what you want to hear? Now, you don't know what free will is, because you wouldn't be so pissed off that I'm telling you I can't predict someone unpredictable. And you're also asking about someone that's not you. Yeah, she's bitter because he divorced her and she still wants him, you know, and she wanted alive. Oh, you're definitely going to get back together and he loves you so much. And he's been thinking it's the biggest mistake of his life. Oh, he's crying at night about it in the pillow, but he just doesn't know how to call and communicate with you. Oh, he's suffering. That's the shit she wanted to hear. And they're out there. They're a dime a dozen to tell her what she wants to hear. See? I mean, off the top, like, that's the script she wanted from me. And she didn't get it. And it's called Kisses. Bye. I'm not your girl. Like, I was talking about this in the live the other night with health diagnosis. You know, it pisses me off in the industry that people that call themselves medical intuitives that have no medical training, no training as a nurse, and you're going to go tell someone they're going to have a heart attack? Not good, not good, not ethical, lack of integrity. Yeah, and that's the good thing of being 30 years in now. I don't care, because I know that I'm delivering quality. And that person doesn't want quality. That person wants junk. So go find your junk psychic and take a hike. Yeah, and it's a certain someone that was on a housewife show. Just to say, that's what she does. That's her MO, to control and manipulate people. That's why she doesn't like me, because I don't act, she can't, you know. So she tries to paint me as someone who doesn't know what I'm doing. The medical, yeah, that's what, yeah, it's, you know, I had on one of my other lives, I had a man who started to go into, I had heart surgery and blah, 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 and can you diagnose with my condition and blah, blah, blah. I said, no. I said, no, I don't medically, yeah, yeah, that person, yeah, that gem of, yeah, that low vibration one. I said, no, I don't medically diagnose. And unless you have medical training, you should not be medically diagnosing. I say, hey, look, you want to ask me about your love life, your finances, a move, a family dilemma, that's on you. I mean, not you, but saying the person. But medically, like I had talked about this with Tim, that, you know, they brought the lawyers into Lilydale. She's gross. She's just a gross person. I really, like, she makes my skin crawl. I was just so repelled at someone like her that manipulates, like telling someone they're going to have a heart attack to control and manipulate them. That's sick. That's sick. That is twisted. That is a warped way of thinking. And it's pathetic is what it is. Yeah, that's why she can't stand me, because I'm the real deal. I'm not interested in controlling and manipulating people. I'm not on a power trip. She is. You know, she can take her curses and spells. Good luck. And she calls herself a Catholic. Yeah, that Tim has said it too with her. That woe to her for the things she says. Yeah, she doesn't, you know. She wants me annihilated. If it was up to her, if she could have her way. You know, she's bad news. But she's got her following because she's a master manipulator and blah, 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 blah. And she gets her clutches on people. Just like when somebody's looking to marry a wealthy person, right? They work on they're sinking their clutches. Yeah, I think it's evil too. I think it's sick. It gives us, those of us that are ethical, it gives us more work to do, you know. That's why, I don't want her anywhere near me. She constantly bashes Lilydale too. She's jealous because they would tell her with her spells and her curses to get out and never come back. See, she makes it, they don't want her. Because Lilydale is not about spells and curses. It's about connecting with spirit, not on some power trip with your whatever you do with your spells and your curses. Oh, to say too, even before having to recently have to be subjected to even hearing her name at times, I knew I had her number over 10 years ago. I just wanted her to never know who I am. But unfortunately, I have receipts. She spies on me on social media. I have receipts. Because she's jealous and pathetic, and she's an insecure woman. So she bashes Lilydale. She puts it down. She says all these gross things about Lilydale. It's disgusting. I don't want to hear this. It's disgusting. Like, hey, look, it's not your cup of tea. Well, you know what? You're not their cup of tea either, because Lilydale is not about spells and curses, and they're not about telling people they're going to have a heart attack. That's the whole thing. Tim trained me with that a while ago, because when he was training up in Lilydale in the 70s, they brought lawyers in, and this is what the lawyers said. They said, you never say cancer, heart attack, stroke from a legal perspective. They told Tim, you can say, I advise an oncology appointment. I advise a cardiology appointment. I advise an appointment with a particular specialist. To me, medically diagnosing, it's one thing as a physical empath. If I feel your Charlie horse on my leg, it doesn't. Hi, Annie. How are you? Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I'd say probably your son's astrology. I'm going to leave it for next week because I'm going to be wrapping up the live. The next live, Annie, is going to be next Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Hi, Justin. How are you? I've just been talking, but, have his astrology. It's Annie's birthday tomorrow, everyone. February 12th. Let's wish her a happy birthday, a beautiful, blessed birthday. I don't know what that is yeah, you know what? The day has been really unpredictable. I couldn't get a door code at first to get in. I was almost thinking I wouldn't be able to do the live tonight, but Spirit stepped in. Yeah, it's a really unpredictable energy. Judy's wishing you a happy birthday, too. And Annie, I was going to ask you, when my friend Amy signed on, she said you saw multiple messages she wrote. If you remember, is that correct? Because all I saw Amy say was, hello, Judy, Annie saying thank you for the birthday wishes. Judy's a good friend of mine. So, Judy will sign on as also to boost the live with conversation. You don't remember. It's fine, because Amy was saying, well, she was referring to you. She saw multiple messages. And I was like, because last week I said, Amy, I only saw that you said hi. If you said anything else, it wasn't appearing in the chat. So yeah, the next live is not on Wednesday. It's going to be next. You only saw hi as well. Thank you. Okay, because then I was getting like a little anxious, because I'm like, all I saw was hi, and then I'm like, oh, then if you only saw my hi and what else I didn't say, that helps, Annie. I can't have it next Wednesday, because see how the unpredictable energy, I had to move what I was supposed to do tomorrow to Wednesday, because So the next live is going to be Thursday. We can look at your son's chart then. That's the night. Yeah, that's the 19th of February too. I will post, I will post in the live section like the upcoming day and time of the live, but I just wanted to let you know next week it's not going to be on Wednesday at this point, and I think that's probably a definite. So let me see if I'm gonna release this live, because I was spilling some tea. I didn't say names, but Judy and I were talking about a certain psychic that has some media traction that tells people that they'll have heart attacks to control and manipulate them. So I was spilling some tea. I didn't say names, but we got a little bit on that track tonight. Oh, it's Annie. It's not Amy, Judy. Yeah, it was, I'm trying not that I think she would listen to the replay of this live, but no, she doesn't like me. Are we shocked? It's kind of like I'm Glenda, she's Wicked Witch, because I don't do curses and spells. She's into that. Yeah, she's into controlling, and she's on a power trip. That's why but I mean, she's way more visible than me. I mean, she's got a following. She always will, because she's a master charmer. Yeah, that's saying. So I was like, do I release the live? Judy's thinking you're Amy because I was just talking about Amy now. And Judy knows Amy because Amy is one of my friends as well that is out on the West Coast. So Judy knows about Amy. So she was thinking, because I brought up Amy, then she's thinking you're Amy because she doesn't know about you, but I will explain a little bit to her. So then, if you're both on at the same time. Oh, here, she's correcting it. She's saying, sorry, Annie, have a great day, night. You're saying post it. They don't know who we're talking about. Post it. Judy's a good Sag that way. Post it. Screw her. That's where too, right? I'm not saying names, but yeah, because I got into that. So, yeah, I know. So maybe I will release it. I'll see. But because I was talking about Annie, when psychics medically diagnose, or they say they're medical intuitives, like, my mentor trained me, and he was trained, they brought in lawyers. Yes, do it. Yeah, she's probably anyway. I don't think she goes into my YouTube. She goes into one of my other social media channels, but I don't think she goes into my YouTube. So because if she did listen to it, she would know I'm talking about her, because we have a mutual friend. That's why I still am tortured by having to even hear her name, unfortunately, because he feels compelled to mention her. So, yeah, I probably will release it. Nobody's gonna, I think, watch it or anybody connected that would get it. But what I was saying, Annie, is no psychic or medium should medically diagnose unless they're trained in medicine or nursing, which I'm not, because you're playing God with somebody's health and life. And I think it's very dangerous. My mentor was trained in the 70s up at Lilydale when he was training. They brought in lawyers, and the lawyers explained to all the mediums that were, training and, just hearing a talk, really, because Tim doesn't believe in taking classes. He believes if you got the ability, just get out there and give the messages. He thinks those certificates are bunk. I agree. I'm in that camp too. I would never do that. But the lawyers came in and explained and said, you never say cancer, heart attack, stroke. First of all, you're asking for a lawsuit. Second, the furthest you go is saying, I advise an oncology appointment. I advise, a cardiology appointment. You never play God with somebody's health. And I was saying, when somebody asks me about their love life, their finances, a loved one in spirit, that is, you're making that adult decision. But I don't predict health. I'm a physical empath. And I was saying, like, if I feel your Charlie horse because it suctions onto me, I'll talk about it. But you're not going to have serious health complications from a Charlie horse. Maybe you need to drink more water because the muscles tightening up, that water also loosens, the muscles. But I don't medically diagnose. I don't do missing person cases. I don't want that responsibility. God forbid I'm wrong. Yeah, okay, magnesium for the Charlie horse. That's good. And that if next time, because when I performed a show in Vegas and I walked by someone, the reason I bring the Charlie horse, the man had a Charlie horse and I stopped. I said, you have a Charlie horse, right? And he said, how do you know? I said, because I feel it on me. And I was like, and it's a psychic show. Hello, it's what I'm here to do. You bought a ticket to hear a message show, and here we are. I'm doing what we said I would do tonight. So, that's feeling other on the body. Yeah, I don't do missing persons. I don't medically diagnose. I'm a doctor of philosophy, not medicine. I don't predict when you're going to kick the bucket. That is between you and your maker. And I am not God, nor do I pretend to be. And then the fourth one is politics. I don't make political predictions. I don't talk about politics. This is about spirituality. You have to discipline yourself. Why are you talking about politics when you're teaching a workshop on how to see auras? Doesn't make sense. I taught politics at the university. Yeah, I taught policy, not what I think. So saying I also don't, anything, my lives, my shows, I don't, politics, no. There's a time and a place, and these are not these lives or my live shows, or you're going to sign off. You need to take, okay, thanks, Judy. Thanks for signing on. Yeah, I'll be wrapping up the live tonight as well. Thanks, Judy. I'll talk to you soon. Good night. That's saying, but just saying like Annie too, that's saying like my ethics, those are the four I don't touch. Now, I'll tell her if she didn't see it that you said night to her, because I'll give her a little update. So then she, because also tomorrow is President Lincoln's birthday. I'd like to give a shout out to the Anointed One and also wish him and Annie happy birthday, as it is also the Anointed One's birthday tomorrow. Oh, she heard it. And Judy knows about the whole Lincoln thing. I just gave a shout out. Happy birthday to Lincoln, President Lincoln. So, too, is sewing that up. So Judy heard it, Annie. So she just gave you a thumbs up there with saying good night. But, yeah, she's got to get the dogs out for the night, too. So, with that, but yeah, that's what, so, and also too, I would say, Annie, right? So next week, if you have your son's information, okay, good. Because it's always, I'm seeing it, or you seeing it. I don't know. I know what I'm seeing, but so, next week I can look at your son's chart too. You were meant to talk to your sister anyway. That's how spirit works. So that'll be Thursday, February 19th, 7:30 p.m. Just saying, because so far all these lives have been on Wednesday nights, and next week I got to switch it up and go with Thursday next week. So yeah, I know you were meant to talk to her. That's how spirit works. You can't, that's just, spirit had a reason. That's saying that was spirit, that too, that, you know, you were supposed to sign on when you did, too. It was a little bit of a fuzzy night, because I was at one point, when I couldn't get the door code to get inside, I was questioning whether I was going to be able to have the live tonight at one point. But, you know, eventually I was able to get inside. You know, so it's that type of, like, wackiness too, in the air. But yeah, for next week, and I'll say this, Annie, that, you know, if, yeah, it's good to see you, because I am going to wrap up the live. Let me see, maybe Judy's giving me the encouragement to release it. But Thursday, February 19th, if you can, you know, earlier, it's fine, because you're supposed to talk to her. It's your birthday tomorrow, all of that. We can Thursday start off with that, with your son's chart. So I am going to sign off for the night. I honestly actually stayed on longer than I expected, but you know, that's how spirit works. Judy hopped on, and then we had a back and forth. So I'll see you next week on Thursday, Annie. I will see all of you next week, Thursday, February 19th, 7:30 p.m. is the next Psychic Paranormal Live. Have a good night, Annie. I'll catch up with you next Thursday, and we'll do some more astrology. So good night, everyone. Remember that spirit lives on in you. Good night. Have a great week. And I will connect with all of you next Thursday.